Hey guys, Jamiy, and today on Roblox we're playing some more Loomian Legacy, as you can see on the screen right now. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions, mostly, how do I train, or what do I train these new Loomians in, or what movesets do I give them, what do I do with these new Loomians? Now, I especially get this question a lot on stream, so I decided to make a video about it. Before we get into the actual video though, I should mention that there are multiple sets for everything. Also, you don't have to run these sets if you don't want to. These are just my suggestions. And also, some of these probably won't be the best sets for that Loomian. There might be even better sets that you can run on them. But these are just my opinions. And also, again, the update's been out for like 2 or 3 days. So, again, eventually, like, give it a couple of weeks, we might find better sets. But this is what I would recommend. And this is what probably I'm going to run for the time being until, again, we get better sets for them. So anyway, let's hop into it. Okay then, so we're going to start off with Gastrok. Obviously, this is the main set that I'm going to use and I would recommend you guys to use. There is another set which is like health and just range defense and the rest into range attack. I wouldn't really recommend that one just for the fact that it's going to probably get one-shot by a lot of things. So the set that I'm going to be showing you is basically try and give this thing as much melee defense to hopefully live a couple of hits. So basically the idea of this is 196 health. The reason why it is not 200 is for the fact that you want the health stats to actually be an odd number, especially if it is weak to icicle traps. So obviously since it's a plant type, it should be weak to icicle traps. So basically the idea is if you are an even number, if you come into an icicle trap 4 times, you will just die on the 4th time coming onto the field. If you have an odd number, on the 4th time of coming onto the field, you'll actually live on 1 health because it actually rounds down. So that is a good tip for people that if you don't know that. But basically, 196 in the health, 200 in melee defense, just maxing it out as much as possible, and the rest we can just dump into range defense. It's not really going to do much offensively, so I would rather make it just like a staller, for example. For the personality, again, robust. We want this thing to have as much melee defense as possible. This one, I guess you could technically give it clever if you really wanted it to give it a little bit more range defense, but for me, personally, I would go for robust. Ability, you can really have any of them. They're all, like, pretty good, but for the one that I would recommend is probably Mystery Toxins. It has the chance to poison, put to sleep, or paralyze, I believe, so it's really, really good. There is Ungracious Host, which is good against a lot of stuff that is like Stally, for example, or the hidden ability is Slimy. If something makes physical contact with it, it will lower their speed. Again, that hidden ability is good and all, but because it's really weak physically defensive, wouldn't really recommend that one. I have one, but I'm probably not going to use it, honestly. Other than that item, I would recommend Health Amulet, just for the, obviously, the health recovery. Other than that, though, for the moves, there is another move to replace Nature's Force. You could run Nature's Force or Trip Root for damage. I don't really know which one's the best one, but I feel like most people are just going to run Nature's Force. So Nature's Force for your damaging move. You got Briar Block, which is basically just a protect. If a opponent makes physical contact with you on that turn when you use the block move, they will actually take a little bit of health recoil damage, which is really, really nice. Photosynthesis just for the health recovery, and obviously poison for the stalliness. Also using poison, photosynthesis, and briar block is going to be really, really good just to annoy people, so really would recommend it. Again, you could run just like 196 health, 200s range defense, and then 104 range attack if you really wanted to, and you don't want to put anything into melee defense, but I wouldn't really recommend it. But that is it for Gastrok. On to the next Loomian. Okay then, so for the next one, we're actually going to be talking about Kabunga. Yes, Kabunga is technically usable. Wouldn't really recommend it right now, it doesn't really get the greatest moves, but its speed actually isn't that bad and its attack isn't that bad actually. But anyway, let's talk about it. Also for the health, you want to run 92 TPs on it. That will give you an odd number at level 50 and level 100s. So also again, odd numbers are pretty key on, I guess, health. Especially again, if they are weak to Icicle Trap. For the melee attack, I would max it out as much as possible with 200s, and then also give it 200 speed, trying to max out the speed as well. That means you have 8 left over, which you can just dump into range attacks, since you can also run a couple of range attacks as well. So basically, the personality can be nimble or brawny. If I was going to run it, I would run nimble, but you can run brawny if you want a little bit more damage, because it Its speed is okay. The melee attack is a little bit like average, but it's still like okay, I guess, to run. The ability, it gets communication, which really isn't that great unless you're in 2v2s or doubles. It gets territorial, which is okay, but it's gender based, so it could be risky. But also it leaves the hidden ability, which is Noxious Weeds. That is technically the best ability for it, but again, it is the hidden ability, so it's going to be rare. On that item, I'm not really too sure what item you can run on Kabunga. I would probably just say Plant Essence, just to make sure you can hit a little bit harder. Other than that, though, for the moves, these are really the only 4 moves that you can really get, which is Bushwhack, it's hardest hitting melee move, Pine Shot, it's hardest hitting ranged move, obviously Dodge, and then Strike in case your plant moves are resisted, I guess. So that's basically for Kabunga. On to the next thing. Okay, then next up is Wikiwiki, which I'm going to put 2 sets up on screen for you guys. Basically, one's for melee defense, one's for range defense. It really depends on what you're looking for. Wouldn't really recommend it to try and do any damage. It's not really going to do much. It's mostly, the gimmick really is, it's like meant to be a healer, and that's basically it. So it's not really going to do a lot much than that. Its best stats obviously are its health and its energy, but the rest of the stats are pretty, like, average across the board, really. Anyway, Lo, for the left set, I would recommend 200 health. Actually, on both sets, I would recommend 200 health. Then for the other stats, you can either put 200 into range defense or into melee defense, and the other 100 into the opposite defense, basically. So you can you can have ranged or melee. Also, personalities would be clever or robust, depending on which one you want. Again, ability, the best one really is the hidden ability, the Noxious Weeds again. Item, I would recommend the Health Amulets, or the Drain Orb if you really wanted to, but Health Amulet is probably better. For the moves, there actually is 8 moves they can actually get, which are pretty good. Wonder Herb gets rid of all your party's status ailments. So, for example, if your Zulong is burnt, Wonder Herb will get rid of it. So that's basically pretty good, especially with the new Ventustion, because also that can burn stuff a lot with its gaze remove. Also, as well, it's a type on the side that I actually use to get these screenshots, but it's actually Health Gift, not Health Giffy. But Health Gift basically is like Healing Wish, I believe, from Pokemon. So when you use it, the user will faint, and the next thing you bring in will get basically all of its health back, which is pretty good, obviously. So I would definitely recommend that. Other than that, there is the Energy Gift. It's basically the same, but it will replenish the energy of whatever Loomian comes in next. It gets Photosynthesis for self-healing. It gets Sap Plant for self-healing. It gets Life Drain if you want to try and like get even more health back. It does get Poison, so it can try and like stall stuff if you really want to try it. And also its final move, which everything can get, is a Dodge. So if I was going to run this, I would probably run Wonder Herb and Health Gift. Those are like the 2 moves I would probably run. Other than that, I would probably run maybe Poison and Dodge. It really depends. Like, if you really want to run Poison, I guess you kind of have to like run Sap Plant or Photosynthesis for the health recovery back, so I can stall things out. So I guess technically for me, I would probably run Wonder Herb, Health Gifts, maybe Sap Plant and Poison or Dodge, just one of them. Like, there's a lot of options basically for Wikiwiki, but that's basically how I would run it. And on to the next thing. Okay then, so next up is Chariot. So I actually have 2 sets for you, and the third one, which is the set that I'm going to be running, because I think this like is as good as I'm probably going to try and get it from like testing stuff out. So basically, the idea for Chariot is it comes in and it tries to do as much damage as possible, which is pretty good. So obviously, I would recommend to always run 200 range TPs in range attack. So always with a smart personality, those are like what you kind of need to run for it to do as much damage as possible, because its other stats are pretty lackluster. Other than that, you could either for the first set run 200 health and then the remainder in 100 in speed, just so you're as tanky as possible, I guess, but you also got a little bit of speed to outspeed certain things. That's like an okay set for like people that are just getting into the game. Again, personality, Noxious Weed is best on like every set that you can get. Item, Health Amulets, I mean, goods. You could also run like the Fire Essence or the Plant Essence, it really depends on what sets you really want to run. Again, for the right one, or the second one, you could run it the opposite way, run max range attack with max speed with 200 in speed, and then the rest of the 100 just into health. So you could run that as well. Again, really depends for Chariot kit. I guess technically you want to like maybe make it 96 health just so it's an odd number, but it's like the ideas, I guess, or the general idea for Chariot kit. It's basically going to want max range and enough speed to outspeed certain threats, and then the rest you just basically dump into health. So there's that. Also, the moves that you can run for it is also Fire Breath and Nature's Force. Those are its two hardest hitting moves, and actually it's really, really good. They both hit for 90 from both typings wise. There is also Life Drain and Photosynthesis for health recovery, and the last move that you could run if you really wanted to was a Briar Block, which again is kind of like a protect. Now then, for my specific set, I'm actually going to do something very similar to like the first set, basically, which actually is, it's actually basically identical to the first set, but the only thing that I'm changing is instead of 100 speed, I'm going to give mine 112 speeds, basically just to outspeed 100 speed stats. That's basically the reason, and the rest of it's dumped into health. The moves though, I'm not really too sure. I'm definitely going to run Fire Breath and Photosynthesis. Also, I'm going to run Briar Block. The only move that I'm really considering is Nature's Force or Life Drain. I don't know which one I'm going to want to run. Life Drain is really, really good, but if I want to hit harder, I guess Nature's Force is technically good, so I'm probably going to take Nature's Force because this thing is just meant to, like, plow through as much as it can. Again, item, I'm not really too sure what I'm going to run. I feel like Health Amulet or the two essences that I mentioned are probably going to be the best for it. Anyway, though, on to the next Loomian. Okay, then next up is Salcha. So for Salcha, there's really only one way to train it, and that is obviously to make it as quick as possible, I guess. So also, you want to give it 200 speeds, 200 range attack, that is like the ideal setup, and then the rest of it you can just dump into health, basically. For the personality, you could run Nimble or Smart. It basically means do you want it to be a little bit quicker, or do you want it to hit a little bit harder. For abilities, both its abilities are good. The first, also its normal ability just has a chance to daze, which is basically confusion Pokemon, or the hidden ability, which is, I always forget what it's called, but it basically makes all of your moves 100% accuracy, which is good for one of its moves, actually. I guess its signature move, which is Foul Chant. So for Foul Chant, it hits for 90 base, which it might eventually get increased, I'm just letting you guys know. But basically it only has 70% accuracy, so technically you want the hidden ability to really use this thing well. Other than that, you have Peace of Mind for boosting stats. Then obviously Dodge to dodge. And then Quick Pounce. It really doesn't get like a fourth good move yet, so Quick Pounce I guess is just like a priority move. For item-wise, you could probably run the Mind Essence. I don't think Health Amulet's really going to be that good in this thing. There probably will be a new move that I would recommend to this one eventually, though. Again, I'm not too sure when it will come out. Also, there is a chance that Foul Chant will actually get a buff in the future, because also it's 90% accuracy, but it's 90 power, but it's only 70% accuracy, which is pretty bad. So eventually, I feel like it might get a buff, maybe to like 120, maybe 110. I'm not really too sure yet, so we'll have to think about that. But anyway, on to the next Loomian. Okay, then next up is actually going to be Sedimars. So for this one, it's really similar to the Chariot, but instead of special attack or range attack, it's actually melee attack. So eventually, I feel like Sedimars will most likely be used as a tank, but for right now in the, I guess, metagame, full out attack, attacking wise is probably better for it. So also you got two sets on screen. One of them is basically just as quick as possible. The other one is just a little, just enough speed to outspeed stuff like Luminami if it's a tanky set, and just then to like try and tank as much as possible. So also for all the sets right now, I would recommend 200 melee attack with Brawny and the ability Hasty. Those are like set in stone. Health Amulets is an item that you could run. Other than that, you could run maybe the Earth Essence or the Typeless Essence, depending on what you want. Again, Health Amulet is pretty decent, so I mean, if you want to use it, then go for it. Other than that though, I guess next is the moves. So also for the moves we have Earthquake, which is really strong, but obviously since there's going to be like a lot of Gastrokes, that might not be the best thing to only run. So technically speaking, it does actually get some pretty good moves. It has Earthquake, which also is good stab. Raging Tackle is basically just going to be ran on it just to hit things really hard. It actually hits things insanely hard, so definitely would recommend Raging Tackle, especially for things like Gastrok. Sharpen raises its attack stat and its accuracy, which is where Hasty comes in. Hasty boosts your attack's power, but also lowers their accuracy, so raising your accuracy is really good. You could then either run Dodge to also get a little bit of health amulet regeneration back, or you could run Provoke to stop things from using status moves or support moves even. So that's basically how to run Sedimars. Pretty simple. Just right now, like full out attack. It depends if you want it to be a little bit tankier or full speed. So again, there is that. I'm not really too sure how I would run it. I feel like I would just go full out speed, even though it's probably a waste, but just to hit things as hard as possible, really with Raging Tackle, pretty good. Anyway, on to the next one. Okay then, so next up is Ventustion. I'm not really too sure how to pronounce it still, but basically there's only really one set for this thing. There is like a different alternative, but it's really only like one change basically, and I'll talk about it later. But basically for this thing, it's kind of like a Gastrok, but its defenses are swapped, so also really high melee defense, but not as bad range defense as Gastrok's melee defense. So basically for this one, I would run 200 health and 200 range defense with the clever personality to help its range defense as much as possible. The last 100 you can either put into melee defense to try and make it even more bulkier, or to put it into range attack to try and also get those Gastrok burns and a little bit more damage. Also, I should mention, this thing will eventually change. Its melee attack and range attack will be flipped around, so it should have 75 range attack and 52 melee attack. The reason why is because when this thing was first designed, it was originally meant to be a water-fire type, and the original signature move was actually going to be a physical fire move, but last minute it got changed to just pure water, and all of the fire moves I actually got was mostly physical or melee even. So obviously since those have been removed from it, some people couldn't make sense, I guess, why it is more of a melee attacker. So eventually, in a couple of weeks, it will be swapped around. So I would recommend right now to go for the melee defense one. But pretty much this one is to just make it as tanky as possible and annoying as possible, really. Also, the moves is Gazer. It has a 30% chance to burn the opponent, kind of like Scald. This is the only Loomian that will actually get something like this. Nothing else will get anything like this one. The other moves is Soft Water, which is really good. It can get Scapegoat and Dodge, which together sounds really annoying. Scapegoat, if you don't know, is kind of like Substitute. Soft Water heals you every turn for like three or five turns, I always forget, but then also Dodge, so you can even get even more health. So this one's going to be really annoying to fight against, but it's not really going to do anything unless like the opponents are like poisoned, I guess, or maybe Terrafly's Barb. So gonna be questionable. As long as the opponents are like poisoned, it's just gonna be like the best stall, really. Also for physical attackers, and the reason why we don't really have to worry about physical attack as much or melee defense as much is for the fact that Gazer can burn stuff really easily, so its melee defense also gets like a huge buff from that basically. But also for the ability, I would really recommend Sharp Edges. That seems to be the best ability for me, to be honest. And for the item, Health Amulet's probably the best. But that's basically for Ventustion, so on to the next one. Okay then, on to the next one, which is going to be Eruptidon. Now this one's going to be questionable, let's just say that. I'm only going to put one set up on screen, but we are in talks about it maybe not swapping its attacks, but lowering its ranged attack and increasing its melee attack, because people are complaining that it only got one range move. So we are thinking about maybe making both of them about 100, just about 100. We're not really too sure yet, so take that into consideration. But for this set right now, also I'm going to be running range attack. But basically it can be a mixed in the future. We're still questionable about it, so be wary about it for the future. But basically for this specific set is to make it as quick as possible and just to hit as hard as possible, really. So also 200 in speed with a nimble personality. Personality could be smart if you want to hit it, if you want it to hit hard or low, but I'm probably going to go for nimble. Also then you want to run the 200 range attack. Again, if it is going to be a melee build in the future, then run 200 melee, and the rest of the hundreds you could run to health for right now. But again, if it does get its stats changed in the future, you could also run like 100 into the opposite attack. The reason why is because right now he actually gets Fire Breath, which is really good for a ranged move. He gets Lava Slash, which again is still pretty good in my opinion for a melee move. And the main reason because it actually gets Power Focus, which can boost both of them, both of its offensive stats, which is really good. So it is actually worth using a mixed set if you really want to. Also, the last move you could run Dodge, or, which actually I'm pretty sure Scalava gets, is Stretch to actually boost its speed. People are like complaining, I guess, a little bit about its speed, that's a little bit too slow, but with Stretch, as long as you can get like one off, it's going to hit really hard. Other than that though, also for the item, you could run Fire Essence or Health Amulet. Probably Fire Essence is probably the best. Other than that though, for the ability. Now, this ability, I would recommend, if you can, to get the hidden ability. Basically, Eruptodon's all three abilities are really good. Scorching Skin, if an opponent makes physical contact with this Loomian, there's a chance that it could get burnt. Combustible, if Eruptodon gets hit with a Fire type move, it absorbs it and makes its own Fire type move stronger. Or Pyro, which is the hidden ability. Basically, its Fire type moves are 50% stronger but require 50% more energy. So it's going to take you less turns, I guess, to like KO something. So Pyro would definitely be like my go-to if you can also get it. So it's basically for Eruptodon. Again, there's a chance that it can get changed in the future, and it most likely will as of right now, so be wary about it. Anyway, on to the next one. Okay then, so next Loomian is Cracklelower then. So for this one, I'm only really going to have one set. This is the set that I would probably run it, but I'm probably not going to run Cracklelower, but in case you are, here is the set that I would probably recommend, and that's basically to make it, again, hit as hard as possible, but also it's not as quick as Chariot, but it's a little bit more tankier. So I would recommend 200 health, 200 range attack, and then the rest of the 100 to go into one of the defenses. For me, I'm probably just going to put into range defense with the clever personality. Obviously, again, you could change the personality from clever to robust if you want it to be defensive, or you can run smart if you want it to hit harder. It really depends on you. Obviously, for the ability, combustible is really the best ability on it, which is the hidden ability. Volcanic is kind of memey, like it doubles the power, but you can't attack the next turn, so it's going to be risky. Other than that, territorial, again, is just risky. Some of the time it might not even do anything, so again, hidden ability is the best for this one. Other than that, item, again, you could run the Fire Essence or the Health Amulets. And then for the moves, you also have Magma Burst, its signature move for like stab damage. Scapegoat is pretty good obviously. With such, you could run Magma Block as your protect move. And then for the last move, it's questionable. Like there are a couple of moves, I guess. It doesn't really get that many moves, but if I was going to run it, I would honestly run Mud Splatter or Mud Spatter. So basically it's a ground or it's an earth type move, and if you hit something with it, it doesn't hit very hard, but it can lower speed. So again, if it is worth it for you to run it, then again you could run that. So that is that. Other than that though, if you don't want Mud Splatter, you could run Power Focus, I guess. So again, take your pick. But that's basically it for Cracklelower. It's not really that great, but I can see hopefully some people using it. Anyway, next Loomian. Okay, the next Loomian is Volcalower. So this one really only has one set, and the only thing that you could really change is the personality, but I'll get into that in a second. But for this one, I would 100% recommend full speed, full melee attack, and the 100 into health, or into range attack. Its range attack isn't really that good, but it depends on what set you want to run. I would probably run health, but as I said, I would recommend for the personality, I would recommend nimble. If you run a nimble in Volcalower, that means you're actually scaring out Tatabs. So that means you're actually forcing people to run a nimble Tatab. Obviously, if it is a brawny Tatab that you're up against, Volcalower will actually outspeed it. The reason why you're both kind of scared of each other is Tatab, if it outspeeds, can do like 80% damage with Jungle Jutsu, because Volcalower's defenses are just non-existent. But also, Volcalower gets stab fire moves, so that's also a big threat to the Tatab. So basically, Nimble just means that if your opponent's Tatab isn't nimble, you're going to outspeed it and you're going to get a really good amount of damage onto it. Ability, again, the same as Cracklelower. Would recommend the hidden ability if you can get it. For the item, there's quite a few things. Again, you could run the Health Amulet. Health Amulet's basically just good on everything, I guess, for just a little bit of health recovery. Other than that, though, you could run the Plant or Fire Essence if you really want to. It's up to you. For the moves, I would recommend Primal Slash and Blaze Chomp. Also, Primal Slash is this melee ancient move, and Blaze Chomp is its best melee fire move. You can run also dodge, stuff like that. And other than that, you can get Savage Greed, which is only really good in 2v2, so I wouldn't really recommend using that over Primal Slash. Other than that, though, you could actually run potentially Power Focus, which will also raise your stats, which is good. But on this screenshot, because the site put it actually as a melee attack, is Coconut Bomb. It actually is a plant type, so technically it's not a melee attack, it actually is a ranged attack. I don't know why the site is put it down as melee. Apparently I said that it was melee originally when the update came out, but it was always planned to be a ranged attack. So, quick story about it. The reason why it actually has Coconut Bomb is because originally Volcalower was originally meant to be a fire plant type, not ancient. Which Coconut Bomb was actually its signature move, and I had plans to make it a melee attack. But T-Bredem said that because it's a Coconut Bomb, it's most likely just going to throw it at things. Technically, that'll make it more suited as a range attack, which would have sucked. So, also, once it got changed to Ancient type, I guess that was good, because it got another good melee move. But also, it still kept Coconut Bomb, because I still thought it was pretty funny, and it still made sense on the Volcalower. So, still got the Coconut Bomb, but probably not really going to be usable unless you run the Power Focus set. So that's basically it. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Anyway, on to the next Loomian. Okay, then, for the last Loomian is Obsidrugon. Now, also this one has two sets that will be up on screen, but basically the first set is what I'm going to be using personally right now, mostly as like a defensive one, but people are wanting to run it as like a hyper offense, I guess. So anyway, I'll talk about the first set, which is the defensive one that I'll be running. Basically, 196 health to make sure it's odd number as the health, 200 range defense, and then the rest into melee defense. Also, its melee defense is really good already, so it doesn't really need that much of a boost. You could run more melee defense if you really wanted to, though, if it's up to you. But this is the set that I would go with, just to try and help its range defense. For the personality, again, clever to boost its range defense. You could run robust if you want its melee defense to be a little bit higher or lower as well. Abilities, I think personally, Sharp Edges is the best one. Resilience is its hidden ability, which will boost its melee defense every time that it's hit. I wouldn't really recommend it, though, but again, it's up to you. I prefer Sharp Edges, though. For the item, I would recommend Health Amulet on the tanky version. And for the moves, obviously, Primal Slash as its main attacking move, Sharpen as its boosting move, which is really good. And then I would personally run Beast, Slumber, and Dodge. Now, Beast Slumber is an interesting move. It's basically like a nerfed version of Rest from Pokemon. I thought Rest was a little bit busted because you got all of your health back instantly. Pretty much Beast Slumber is a little bit different. You are put to sleep for 3 turns, and you will get 1/3 of your health back every turn. So you're still going to get all your health back, but you're only getting 1/3 of it every turn. So over the course of 3 turns, you'll get all of your health back. Obviously, that means, though, that you can still have the chance to be KO'd. So obviously, Beast Slumber, Dodge, and the Health Amulet is really good recovery. But what makes Beast Slumber the signature move to Obsidrugon is that it actually raises both of its defenses by 1 stage just while it's asleep. Once it wakes up again, it will lose those defenses, all those raised defenses stats. Also, I should mention as well, Beast Slumber also gives you, this one isn't just for the signature one, this will probably be for the normal one, but Beast Slumber also gives you 1/4 of your energy back for 3 turns, so you'll get 3/4 of your energy back as well. So pretty good, but also you have to be risky about it. Also, something can like one-shot Obsidrugon, might not want to keep it in because you're not going to get all your health back instantly. And that's basically it for the tanky set. For the hyper offensive set, basically, I know people are going to want to run this, so I thought I'd mention it. But basically, you're going to run 200 speed TPs, 200 melee attack, and then the rest of the hundreds basically into health just to make it a little bit tankier, I guess. Also for the personalities, nimble if you want it to be quicker, brawn if you want it to hit harder. I would probably go with brawn if it was up to me. Ability again, probably sharp edges is my recommendation. Item low on this one, you could either run Ancient Essence or the Typeless Essence. So for this one, that is what I would personally run. For the Mueslo, it actually gets Primal Slash and Sharpen. Also, if you're going to try and be a hyper offensive, might as well give it its 2 best moves. You could run Beast Slumber if you want to try and like have some form of health recovery. Other than that, low, you could just run Dodge in replace of it. And for the last move, it actually gets Raging Tackle. Now, it is a little bit of a hidden move. Basically, you have to get Igneol to level 26 before you evolve it into Chrysite. So also, Igneol evolves at 24. Once it's 24 and it's evolving, cancel it, level it up to 25. Once it's evolving, cancel it. Once it's level 26, it should learn Raging Tackle and then evolve again. I'll give you the option to evolve into Chrysite and then you can go along your day. So that is like the best, I guess, hyper offensive way for Obsidrugon. But anyway, that's all of the Loomians that we have in the new update. Also, I'll do another video like this for the update that'll be this weekend, so watch out for that. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it off there. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the feedback in the comments down below, or what specific sets you would give your own stuff. For example, if you don't agree with any of my sets, let me know what you would run on yours. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it off there. I'll see you guys next time.